we're gonna see how it feels, but maybe 275, maybe 315. Who knows? We're gonna find out. All right, bro. No, listen, bro. No water, no food. We doing this dry fasted. You see what I'm saying? I'm not trying to go too hard today, bro. I'm trying to keep it easy. Felt pretty easy. Oh man, this is gonna be a hard one. Oh man. Hey, bro, I'm not playing around, homie. Not playing around, round. You see what I'm saying? See this? We're gonna do this. It's gonna be simple. Felt pretty easy. Pretty easy. Nothing too crazy. Pretty easy, nothing too crazy. I will probably do. Let's go up to 275. Thank y'all for joining in. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Uh, appreciate y'all. You know, I don't do it for the views. I don't do it for the likes. I do it because, you know, this is my passion for real. And I love helping people out. I love spreading positivity. And I love spreading the gospel. You know what I'm saying? That's why I do it. I don't do it for likes, no. I don't do anything for validation. Because validation is a cheap reward system. You get what I'm saying? And that's not to live your life off of that. I mean, why live your life off of that? You know, I want impact. I want purpose. My purpose, which is helping people lose fat, build muscle, spread the gospel, getting certified in personal training, which is so amazing. And, you know, just this is my passion, you know what I mean? And I love working out and I love helping people, right? And I love doing nice things for people too. You know, this is my church shirt. It's where I go to church. Love going to church. It's a very deep passion of mine. And, you know, I just want to spread the positive energy and spread the positive vibes and just live life and just like, you can only control you. Can't control nothing else but you. You know, so I practice stoicism, I practice Taoism, you know, going with the flow of the universe and being okay with what you cannot control. You get what I mean? Also, Christianity, it teaches me humility, it teaches me grace, it teaches me a framework to live my life by, you know? And, you know, why fear death? You know, death is coming to all of us. And can't live in fear. You know, you can't live in fear. You can only go with smart, calculated, you know, caution. You know, because this is a dangerous world. this is a dangerous world, no doubt about it. And you just got to be safe, and you got to have observation about what's going on around you, because people, they hide. There's good intention people and there's bad intention people. And it's not good to make quick judgments on people. It's not good to make quick judgments on people. It's not, because that's pretty shallow for me to. You don't really know a person, right? You don't really know a person until you sat down with them several times and talked with them for hours, and then you could get a feel about a little bit who they are. That's the problem with me a little bit is I would make quick judgments on people, and that's not right to do. You can't really judge a person off at first. You can't really judge a person off 5, 6. You can get a good grasp on their personality, but you don't really get a good who they really are. Ugh. Which I learned. Oh man. Went up pretty easy. That went up pretty easy. But it's not about the weight. It's not about the weight at all. It's about the control, and the form is the most important part, and the progressive overloading. And you can't really gauge your progress off is the weight increasing or not. You really gauge your process on you come in here every day, and you can't control outcomes. You can only control what you put in. And that's one thing that I learned is you can't control outcomes. You can only control what you put into something. Because if we can control outcomes, everyone would live the life that they want, and you got to slave your day, and you can't let your day slave you. You get what I'm saying? I'm an entrepreneur, and I need a lot of structure. I learned that because before I was living with however I want it, whenever I want it, do whatever. You can't live life that way. You need a structure, and you need routine, especially when my schedule is completely controlled by you. It's every hour, every second, every minute, it's controlled by me. And that's the benefits of being an entrepreneur and having a business is you get to control everything, but also you also need the skills to be able to articulate, and you need to dig deep down and really find like what you really love to do every single day, and you would just have like a different type of energy, and you admit it, and then the world will be able to see that. And it's a really positive thing that I learned. And I have temptations. I struggle with temptations for sure. And whenever the temptations pop up, I sit there and I pray. I'm like, okay, like what is the root of all this? Like, why am I thinking these bad thoughts? Why am I having these temptations? It could be trauma, it could be cope, could be triggers. Like, say you just sit down and pray on something, and you may not get the answer right away, but you'll get the answer at the most unexpected times, like that I realized. Like the other day, I was driving. Well, let me put the weight on the bar, and then I'll tell you. Little 225. I don't know, bro. Maybe you'll do this for like. Probably do it for like. Yeah, as I was saying, being an entrepreneur, being a businessman, it's not for everybody. Business person, it's not for everybody. And it takes confidence, it takes self-belief, it takes knowing what you want and knowing how you like it, what you want to do really, everybody deep down knows who they are. You just got to dig really, really deep to really find that. And my personal experience, I've been through a lot in my life, and trauma and failures and adversities and all of that. You name the insult, I've heard it. You name the trauma, I've been through it. You know, so it's not me. That doesn't make me better than anybody. I'm not better than anybody. Me and that homeless man on the street, we're the same person. Why? What makes me better than him? Because I have more materials? What makes me better than another person? Because I'm this, I'm that? No. Like, how much of an egotistical way for me to look at life? You can't. It's not. I used to have that problem. I used to think I was better than other people. And you just can't go about life like that. You can't. It's very egotistical. It's shallow. You know, so you just look at, you know, so you're not in competition with the dude next to you or the woman next to you. You're in competition with you and only you. You know, once you start competing with other people, then that's when you get bitter. You compete with other people, you get bitter. You compete with you get better. I always remember that saying because it's so true. All right, so I'm gonna bang out this set. And see how many we can do it. Oh man. Oh man, how easy was that? You know what I'm saying? How y'all saw how easy that went up? Decline bench, I could do a lot more weight. And the decline bench, it really works the lower chest. Because, bro, I done worked the middle chest so much. Like, I just got done doing heavy. I just got done doing heavy incline, barbell incline. And now I'm doing this. So these will probably be my only two. And then I'll just stretch for like 15, 20 minutes. Yeah, man, it's, you know, I almost died a few times. So I just look at life as like, wow, like I'm here for a reason. And I've been through so much stuff and it's like, wow, I'm here for a reason. It does make me relatable to most people because I've been at the bottom. I've been destroyed. I've been everything taken from below me, you know? So it gives me a relatability that few others have. Usually this types of trauma, it breaks a person. And, you know, I'm allowing it to build me because you can't, I don't know, just nothing special about me. I'm just like everybody else. I tie my shoes like everybody. I put my clothes on the same as everybody else in this world. And, you know, I'm not a materialistic guy. So, you know, I'm not defined by my materials. I'm not chasing materials. I'm not chasing women. I'm not chasing that because, you know, the law of attraction. And you chase something and it runs away. But if you just stay still and be that rock and just pour into your own cup, you would naturally attract what you were meant to. And the universe has a plan for everybody. And God made the universe, you know, and God has a plan for everybody. There's no use of going against, trying to swim against the current. Go along with the current and just let the river take you. Just let the river take you. And one of my big problems was what I was saying earlier. my schedule is whatever I want. You know what I'm saying? Do whatever I want, whenever I want. But I had it. My prayer was answered, and I was driving and I was working, and it just hit me like, hey, maybe the reason you're burnt out is because you don't have structure, you don't have that in your life. So, and it's crazy because when you sit down and I pray, I don't hear anything most of the time. Sometimes I'll hear a little something, but most of the time I don't hear nothing. And I'm brand new to Christianity. Like I converted, I got baptized in April, May. So it's only been like 2-3 months. So I'm literally a baby, and I'm still learning a lot. It's growing is hard, but that doesn't make the person who's been a Christian for 50 years any better than me, And there's a fine line. Like there's a lot of fine lines to things, and there's a lot of fine lines to things and just life in general. And you just gotta have that fine line. You're walking a tightrope. As a Christian, you walk a really tight rope. And walking that tightrope is sometimes you fall off and sometimes you lose balance, but you walk that tightrope and you just as a Christian and as a man who is a businessman and just a person in general. It's like there's a lot of fine lines to things. A fine line between arrogance and confidence. There's a fine line between, that's a good example. Arrogance and confidence. There's a very fine line between that. There's a fine line between giving someone honest, genuine advice versus, looking down upon and putting yourself on a pedestal and throwing stones at them. There's a fine line, a very fine line between those things. And there's also other examples, but let me hit this set for real before my pump goes away. Alrighty, we're gonna do 275. We're gonna do 275. All right, this is some big boy weights. I want to do it for at least 6. And man, I don't have any liquid. I don't have any water. So I'm doing this completely dry fasted, and putting yourself in that state, it puts you in a different mindset, for sure. It puts you in a different mindset where it's like you're hungry, and you're starving for success and being fasted, and you hear God louder because you're starving yourself really from, dopamine, and you're just relaxing, and not dopamine, but like you're quieting your mind, and the copes that we use as humans for the copes, we all use copes, right? We all have copes, whether that's eating candy, whether that's drinking, whether that's smoking, whether that's doing drugs, these are all bad habits. Masturbation, these are all bad habits, right? And, you just cut it out, and the more obedient you are towards God, you hear the man louder, I learned. It's just my experience. I'm not pedalizing myself. I'm not a guy who's gonna take the high ground for anything. I'm not that type of guy who's just gonna take the high ground. You feel me? I'm not gonna do that. I fell victim to it because putting yourself on the high ground and like I said, there's a fine line between putting yourself on the high ground and viewing yourself as like better than somebody else because you feel as though you're morally superior, and that's just not right. You know what I'm saying? But all right, we're gonna do this. And 275. Hopefully, we're gonna do it for like 6. Not hopefully, we're gonna try. All right. So we didn't do 6, but we did 5. So you have a goal for $1 million, and you hit $500,000. Is that really a failure? You know, uh, whew, man, that was a really good set. Really good set. Is that really a failure? So that's a great example. And the gym teaches a lot of life lessons for real. So your goal is 6 reps, but you hit 5 reps. Is that a failure? You know? So you just take the small wins. And it's like that. Another thing, bro, is you don't know who you're dealing with, bro. Like you never know. You never know who you could be dealing with, bro. That is a lesson that I learned is you never know who you're dealing with. You don't you don't know who you're dealing with. You don't you don't know who you're dealing with. And so it's important to show everybody respect, because hey, you step on a person's shoe, you look at a person the wrong way, some people are fragile and sensitive. And a lot of people are hurt. They're hurting. And you just gotta have that mentality like, hey, this person is hurt. And hurt people to an extent. I'm very hurt and I don't hurt other people, but I did a lot of healing and I made a lot of progress. And yeah. Yeah, I pretty much like just wanted to go live and just show my personality and show my workout for real. And yeah, see you on the next live. Try to go live like 5, 6 days, 2 to 5 times a week. So yeah.